Yep. So do we go to the central bank digital currency?
Let's do it.
All right. So central bank digital currency is a rewrite of the financial system. So right now we are post Brentwoods, right? So what's Brentwoods? Brentwoods was the event that decided the financial order that the United States would sit at the center of the world financial system, that the U.S. dollar would be the reserve currency of the world, that all international trade would be traded with the United States dollar, and that's the world that we've been living in post World War II. Well, I believe we're in a new inflection point. We are in the age of the technocracy, as I've labeled it. Jim earlier thought that was really cool. He had visions of G.I. Joe.
Made me think of old G.I. Joe and Transformer cartoons and He-Man stuff, just fighting over crazy.
It's a big idea. A new world order.
Cobra Commander out there yelling about it.
So I think about 94, I would estimate, to 96% of money currently is already digital. And so forgive me.
Gross.
Yeah, so this is the PBS explanation. You know, we got 4 to 6% in cash. When new money needs to be created, the government will tap the Federal Reserve. There's nothing federal about it, and they don't have any reserves, but they call themselves the Federal Reserve, which is a private cartel of a bunch of private banks that have band together that are basically create digital money out of thin air. They don't mint anything at the U.S. Treasury, really.
Make our own bank.
Right, and the United States government says, I owe you, the Federal Reserve, money because we're issuing checks to pay our bills, as the Federal Reserve just creates money out of thin air. Well, that's going to change from commercial banks letting you use a private account to a central government entity issuing and controlling the money, essentially kind of like one bank. Think of it in the terms of like your bank account is a liability of a commercial bank. Think Bank of America, think Chase. Right now it's digital, but it's private. With the central bank digital currency system, the new financial system that we're being converted into, the digital currency would be a direct liability of the central government. It would exist in a digital wallet, likely provided or mandated by the state. So to kind of give you an analogy, I would compare it to the difference between a gift card to Kohl's versus a government issued debit card like EBT. So they can control what you buy and what you sell.
So even private transactions, like you're done with this computer and you get a new one and you're going to sell it to me, whatever. We'll just hypothetical. I need a computer. You're like, oh, it's an old one. I don't care. I'll sell it to you for $100. I'll have to use digital currency, and then what? They're going to tax me on private?
You no longer have cash. You will have a digital bank account that will be managed and controlled by a central government. I want to sell you my computer. They may say, Jim, I didn't like what you said on the Spiritual Insurgency podcast. If you buy a computer, it's probably going to contribute to your misbehavior. We're not going to allow you to buy a computer today. I'm sorry, Jim.
I'm going to the bartering system. I'm going to make my own bank. I don't want nothing to do with it. It sounds terrible. It sounds like a bunch of control is what it sounds like.
Exactly, control, because money is control.
Just like electric cars, they can turn them off and on and stuff. It all sounds like control. I don't like to be controlled, to be honest with you.
Yeah, our money is already tracked and programmable.
Oh, yeah. They do it with the credit cards and stuff. I know that, and the debit cards.
Yeah, and it's also censorable too now. They're just going to consolidate it into a system that lends more control to it and eliminates any workaround like cash.
Start bartering then.
Yeah. Just you have to look at the Chinese system. The People's Bank of China issues a digital yuan, which is their currency. It has expiration dates, forcing people to spend money in a certain period.
It's their currency, the yuan. Sounds like wontons.
YUAN. Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of a use it or use it stimulus fund program that the Chinese did.
Gross.
Unprecedented surveillance, because every single transaction is recorded on a central ledger. If you guys understand blockchain technology, this is essentially the technology that's backing these cryptocurrencies, right? It's a, call it a digital ledger, where it keeps record of where the money was, because your dollar, when you spend it, goes to the baker, then the baker spends it on his rent, and then the landlord spends his recipient
on taxes or something.
And so there's a record, and the blockchain keeps a electronic record of that. Right. And so I'm just trying to explain sort of what this is and what this is going to kind of look like.
I'm good.
It's the death of financial privacy because essentially
It's another freedom lost, essentially. Correct? Is that what it is? To freely buy and purchase and do things? Is that? Am I
absolutely
close?
absolutely? It's a lockdown system.
I'm reading this right. What you're telling me?
You're reading it 100% correctly, and you're not going to be able to escape it because the entire planet is being engulfed in this. That's why we call it a new world order. It's not a new American system. A 2023 Atlantic Council survey found that 130 countries representing 98% of the global GDP are experiencing central bank digital currency. So this is a coordinated global push. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about Revelation 13, Mark of the Beast. No one can buy or sell without the mark. Some crazy Christians are thinking that there's a connection between the Mark of the Beast and the CBDC.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
whisper so quiet.
I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but
We need to get you a tinfoil hat.
maybe the Bible's right.
We need you to get a tinfoil hat you just put on when it's like, you just put it on. You're like, did you know? And then like you just pass it around when anyone say anything a little off or a little like maybe sounds a little weird. Just put the tinfoil hat on and be like, did you guys think that possibly it's constructed or built by design?
And guys, this censorship has already happened in the United States. Dr. Mercola during COVID, Kanye West, I think about a year or two ago, they were all financially censored.
And those guys are pretty wealthy.
High profile, wealthy people. You don't think they're going to take little broke Aaron Lujan and tell him he's been naughty and can't go buy shoes today? If they're going to do this to
Jordan's for you this week.
If they're going to do this to a billionaire, a celebrity, an international celebrity, you guys, they were making these people examples of you, saying we're coming for you.
Nobody's untouchable. It doesn't matter how high up the status or the financial ladder you are.
You're not going to escape it. I mean, just think about the implications in the culture war. You know, do you believe schools should affirm gender? Oh, you don't get to use your debit card today, Jim. Oh, you don't like what the state of Colorado is doing with your tax dollars? Well, maybe you're not going to be able to go out to eat tonight, Jason. So this is just the kind of world that they're creating because at the end of the day, these people print money. They don't need more money. If they wanted more money, they would print it. What these people want is they want to sit on the throne. They want absolute full control. It's the reason why the United States is the most incredible experiment that's ever existed because it's the only time in human history where the people decided to rule for themselves. And we need to wake up and we need to get this back or build a parallel system, one of the two.
Just need to make our own bank. That's what I think right now.
Well, you bring up that point, Jim, but that was initially the intent of
cryptocurrency, correct?
to begin with,
to
right?
separate from it, and then the system is like stolen the idea, going, "Oh, you guys really like it? Well, we'll just do the same thing." You'll slide a hand and like, "Oh, what a great idea! We agree with you."
Yeah, it was initially designed to, number one, be a hedge against inflation, which is a huge problem, not just in the United States.
So we all get tangibles
but across the globe.
We all get tangibles and gold and silver and buy spices again and stuff, I guess, and booze.
But that goes back to the gold dollar to begin with, right? I mean, the idea that the dollar was attached to something, and to that point, a scarce resource.
Yeah, I have some old silver certificate currency, U.S. currency and stuff that says silver. You can trade it right straight for silver and stuff.
Well, and to go further, right? The intent of cryptocurrency was to create scarcity, right? There's only a limited amount of Bitcoin out there now,
And transparency.
Now, be careful because there are some cryptocurrencies that do not have the scarcity factor that they can continue to produce and that they can continue to essentially inflate.
I'm a caveman. I don't understand crypto.
Inflation is not just an issue in the United States right now. It's actually an issue across the globe. Egypt just dropped their interest rate 100 basis points for like the 5th time this year. So, you look at that. You look at the euro, which is
the one with pyramids, right? I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah, you look at the euro.
Denials more than
heavily impacted by inflation. The yuan is heavily impacted by inflation.
The wonton.
There's so many currencies that are just at this point not backed by anything. It's fictional money. There's no scarcity. You just print as much as you want.
It's all fiat currencies, right? The belief that the people that use it have in it is the strength of it. So if we believe in it more technically as the people of the citizens of the country, then it technically has more value and is worth more. So really it's kind of up to us as a whole. It is that we, the people, have the power and authority of it technically, right? Or am I wrong about that to a point? I know it's only to so far, but still.
Yeah, well,
Am I entirely incorrect with that? Because I always understood it with the fiat currency. It's our belief in the currency. If I really think the dollar is a dollar, and then most of us do, it kind of becomes a dollar of actual value, not the devalued currency it has become at this point. And a lot of people don't have faith in the system. Government shutdowns, yada, yada, terrible politicians, all this weird bureaucratic nonsense, fees, just nobody having any faith in the system also devalues the currency at an accelerated rate because we started not believing in it, right? Pretty close, right?
Close.
Or-
So you look back to the creature from Jekyll Island, right? The
That's
five
a book, right?
Yes, it's a book.
Helping.
The five key points, right? Number one, the Fed is a cartel. Inflation is a way to transfer wealth. Crises are systemic, not accidental. Bailouts entrench moral hazards. And the solution is to end the Fed and restore sound money. Which, if you look at just Trump's battle with Powell in this last couple months and in this last, couple years, the Fed is 100% completely independent and cannot be impacted by essentially anything, right? The idea of tearing down the Fed or Trump trying to change the Fed or demand that the Fed do something is not impactful in any way, shape, or form. The Fed is going to act on its own best interest, its own fruition of bankers.
Just not
and
necessarily the country
people that they
best
impact.
interest, which
It's
is
not
not necessarily the citizens' best interest or even the government's best interest of this country or any country. It's their best interest at every time, all the time. Correct? That's how I always understood it.
Essentially, it goes back to what you just stated just a couple minutes ago, that the dollar, the only value of the dollar is what somebody else puts on it, right? Because it's not backed by anything anymore. And so,
Thanks, Nixon.
to go to a U.S. central bank cryptocurrency
I'm not a crook.
that is scarce but yet still controlled by the Fed could bring back some sort of sound money tactic. But at the same time, I don't know as though that's the solution to the idea of creating a sound dollar bill.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a big crap show. I didn't curse for once on the show. How about that? I'm doing good. You're welcome.
Less editing for me.
I know. It makes you happy.
well, let's not be conspiracy theorists. Let's look at the bricks. Let's look at the nuts and bolts of what's actually happening with this new world order.
I'm not going to lie. When you said the BRICS, I was like, is this another terrorist organization? There's
Yeah.
like so many names for so many things going on. I was like,
And I actually had a triple meaning: Brazil, Russia, India, China.
oh my God.
So
And Korea, probably the case for Korea.
following the inauguration of President Trump, there was a faction within the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve that was aggressively lobbying for a digital dollar under the framework known as Project Hamilton. And now the primary public-facing argument has shifted from financial inclusion to national security in order to compete with China. So this started when Trump walked into the door. Then you look at the European Union. The ECB, the European Central Bank, announced this year the successful completion of its 2-year investigation phase and is now selecting European partners to develop the digital euro platform and infrastructure. They're announcing the final decision on issuance is expected by mid-2026. In China, the digital yuan, also known as the ECNY, is no longer a pilot program. It is now or became fully integrated this year in the national financial system. It's used subtly to encourage discounts on utilities and taxes for citizens who adopt it.
I was just going to mention, are they pushing in the aspect of everybody that gets like the welfares and the food stamps and the utility breaks and all this other stuff and all the other programs going, there's rely on us, use our stuff. And that's why they get mad at people like me where I'm like, yeah, I don't like programs and things. I prefer to be an earner, not a taker, and be self-sufficient and independent.
Well, let's equip ourselves. How are they going to sell this? They're going to pander to your empathy. They're going to say there's so many unbanked people in the system that need to be brought into the system.
All
that
the
are
homeless people and the addicts. And
urban
holy
campers.
crap. All the urban campers, yeah. I love what they've done to the place.
And always convenience, right? Americans love convenience.
You don't have to have cash. Just put your finger on a thing or tap your phone like they've been having everybody do. So they're already kind of piggybacking off the convenience aspect of it.
Are you telling me the tap to pay was to condition me into the...
Tapping my phone, which is really weird.
Oh, you mean
I
it's all easy for a reason?
don't know. I don't use AI. And
You mean they don't like me? They don't want me to have more convenience? They're trying to trap me?
Right, you don't need to chip yourself. You're already
Yeah.
tracked all day.
Yeah, that's... yeah. And they're also going to, of course, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's easier. For you're going to get paid faster. Your settlements are going to be quicker. It's going to combat crime. We're going to eliminate anonymous cash transactions for illicit activities while the federal government and black market criminals use cryptocurrency to commit crimes. Because I've heard cryptocurrency is a haven for illicit activity. But that's what a little birdie told me. But the biggest development in the central digital banking system is something called Project Angora. Project Angora is arguably the most significant development, is a major initiative involving 7 major central banks, including our Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, and other major financial conglomerates. Its goal is to build a unified ledger system that would integrate tokenized commercial bank deposits with wholesale CBDCs. So in simple terms, they're building a global financial system that would make their central bank digital currency work across borders and effectively work in the international monetary system.
Nah, I'm good, dude. I'm good. You know, I was thinking about something too just now and just seeing what you guys think. I always thought it was interesting that like we were talking about that government shutdown stuff and how this kind of is part of some of that a little bit. It's very interesting that the government shut down, but they're still charging us taxes on things. I was just really thinking about how stupid that really is.
The government shut down. We're not going to collect taxes this year, folks.
No, it's just why am I paying taxes to something that's closed right now?
Yeah.
I just was thinking about it. I was like, why am I participating when it's closed? This is stupid. Yeah. Like, there's just so many stupid things going on right now. I don't want digital currency. I don't want AI. You know, I'm a very analog, simple kind of person. Like, I'm kind of leave me alone, and I don't want to be dealing with weird stuff.
Elder millennials and Gen Z.
And honestly, I mean, just thinking about it, you're like, the government's closed, but I'm paying federal taxes on like crap somewhere, something, buying things right now. This is dumb.
But there's
absolutely stupid.
But there's hope, or there's theatrics going on. Decrypt.co is saying that House Republicans introduced a provision in...
He's a gang member. Watch out. What colors does he run?
In the defense spending bill, attaching an anti-CBDC measure to halt the development of retail CBDCs.
Yeah, what do the Crips think about cryptocurrency? Let's find out.
They're all blue.
They're only in blue.
Yeah, so the House Republicans have added a provision to ban central bank digital currencies into a 1,300-page bill which lays out defense spending and priorities. The amendment included in H.R. 3838 would prohibit the Federal Reserve from testing, developing, or implementing a CBDC under any label. You know, Thomas Massey's signing that one. But hey, at least we have some people in government that still have a spine.
It just sounds like another violation of freedom, lack of, and just trying to do it under the guise of safety and convenience.
Well, they're taking away our free will. So they
ain't taking my free will.
A takeover.
But he's taking my free will over years.
Of a financial system is the robbery and theft of freedom and free will, because your ability to buy and sell is your ability to be free. If you don't have the freedom to buy or sell according to your conscience, you are not a free person. We are no longer a free nation or a free world if we have a centralized system that's in control of our money.
That's crazy when you start thinking about it. You start thinking about how people were originally in like America, you know, like you're like, oh, I got my plot of land, got my little cabin, I got my goat, my cows, growing my own stuff. And then they're like, oh, stores and things and all these conveniences to buy that you got to work more, and electricity, and then running water coming up and not your own well and your own rights to it. And oh, you're going to need gas and you're going to need this and then yada, yada. Here's another convenience, another thing. And then it's like, then you're buying stuff at a grocery store and nobody knows how to hunt or fish or grow food and stuff. Then they're like, oh, let's control how you can buy the food and all the things you need and all these conveniences you've been conditioned to have. Dude, that's insane when you start thinking about
Maybe
it.
maybe they domesticated wild animals.
Man,
Maybe we were meant to be wild.
living in caves, unga bunga. It's just nuts when you think about it. And then they're like, oh, let's control how you can buy all these things. Oh, you have to have a license to fish, a license to hunt, tags to do this and that. And you're like, just regulating everything constantly so you can't do stuff. Then the currency part on how to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Am I reading it all right, everything you were saying? Or
You will not be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. So the Bible prophesizes a time in the future where our ability to buy or sell will require a submission to the Antichrist. I think this is about as technologically feasible of a time, I think, as it's ever been for the mark. What do you think, Jason?
I think that we are heading towards that direction. I think we've been heading towards that direction for a very long time. I think that when chaos ensues, people look for some way to solve the chaos. And I think that the financial crisis across the globe right now, the inflation happening across the globe right now, the instability of pretty much every currency across the globe right now is going to itch world leaders and itch the public and the world public to find a solution. And that solution right now appears to be a digital currency and appears to be a one world currency that we're heading towards. And I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if this is what it's going to be, but this definitely could be a step in that direction.
I agree. So what's the hope? I know what the hope is.
independent freedom and exercising it and not limp wristing or bending a knee. I know it's a caveman way of saying it, but I'm assuming you're kind of on that same page.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Be strong, be courageous. Do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Isaiah 41, chapter 41, verse 10.
Is that pretty much where we're at for the day?
That's pretty much where we're at. I mean, Aaron, you got any final thoughts?
The Chargers are having a great season.
The Chargers are having a great season. Miami Dolphins, not so much.
I don't watch football. Watching other men in spandex don't seem like a thing.
The NHL starts this week. I'm very
Hockey's
excited
the
for
last
that.
man sport. At least they still got goons and fighters.
Tim, what's your closing thought?
Look, just stretch the old legs of freedom. Sounds like you all need to get very physically strong and being able to hunt and fish here real quick. So you might want to figure out how to be independently free and maybe working for yourself and doing some things for yourself. The individual freedoms has always been a very cornerstone standpoint of the country and the foundation of our nation. And rebel rousers ain't bad. It's what made us what we are. So maybe a little back to the roots, if you will, might be a good starting point.
Make America 1825 again.
1776.
Well, thank you for joining us. Join us online, YouTube and Rumble. God bless. Have a great day.
Peace.
You want it better, be better.